of EDG is that they've kept their ban picks very straightforward, right? We haven't seen Scout get off control mages, like I said. We haven't seen Flandre get off these bruisers at all. And it's been mostly about having hyper carries in the bot side.
Well, we'll see if they do keep to the tried and true, as ladies and gentlemen and everyone in between, we are jumping onto the rift for V5 versus EDG. V5 on the blue, EDG on the red. Twisted Fate, the Gragas and the Olaf banned away by V5, and EDG gonna ban away the Zoe, the Pantheon. Might see them ban away the Kaiser here and deny that as a first pick. No, they go with the Lilia.
I like this one a lot because Weiwei's most played jungler this split is actually the Lilia. He's an 83% win rate on it so far, so locking that one down. And also, Y4 doesn't play Kai'Sa. He's played it once, but like I said, he's mostly about, hey, you're going to pick Jhin, you're going to pick Misfortune, you're going to clear the wave bot and give us a place to play around. Instead, they're going to go through Renekton, and this is going to obviously telegraph what should either be a Talia or a Nidalee pick. I think a lot will be based on what EDG takes here.
See, Renekton is the first pick here, and there's still plenty of AP junglers if you do want to combo at that. You, of course, have the Nidalee and the Talia available to you. And the Kai'Sa and Udyr, boom, boom. EDG giving JJ the hottest pick on the rift right now.
And this was expected, right? These are usually the picks you're trading on red and blue side. Someone will get Kai'Sa, and then if your team plays Udyr, you'll take that in response. They're going to go with this, and V5 actually practiced on this new Senna pick. This was something Y4 was playing in 2020, so it makes sense. Again, telegraphs more for a topside-oriented play early on, but obviously now with its new build, with its changes, it is a massive carry threat after those two items.
Yep, we've covered it many, many times, and has had 2 games previous to this and has a 100% win rate. I do believe it was Huanfeng and Jackie Love both respectively picking that one up, and they both did pretty damn well if my memory serves me right. And this is, you know, a champion pick that I feel like we talked about in the last series will just start to become more and more and more powerful, more and more prioritized the more information we get around the world.
I'm also interested to see where V5 go, because usually when you have things like Senna, you want to put things that have a lot of built-in sustain. So I was going to theorize they're going to still go with an AP jungler. So again, the Nidalee's still open, and then maybe try to go back to Mole's Yone. Despite the fact that, you know, he doesn't have built-in sustain, he does go for that Bloodthirster build, just stacking more heals on top of him. But EDG look like they know what's coming. They already have banned out the Talia.
Yep, they knew that they can't really give that one away, and we can see now V5 focusing on the Rel. Has been a pretty strong champion to combo in with the Kai'Sa, or even things like the Samira, because it can just jump in and create chaos that just thrives for them, or even just keep them in place for your AD carry to start blowing up people. And someone who does this very similar thing as well is someone like that Set. So you can see the 2 AP junglers backed away, banned away, excuse me, as well as the Set and Rel, the 2 engagey supports.
And we need to remember that Mole, he could play the Galio. It is a flex pick. I was expecting to go towards the bot side before these bans came out. You could still keep it bot and go towards the Syndra, or maybe you do just pick up something like the Graves here, put the Galio in the mid lane, and then I'd say your options for support are a bit more awkward. You do have the Leona open if you did want to go for that, and you have this very engage-heavy composition with, you know, Renekton, Graves, and Galio going in, Leona following up, and then Senna playing safely in the backside of that fight. The thing is, if they go for this, I feel like Y4 is going to actually have to step up and be a main carry for this team, which he hasn't had to be thus far.
Yeah, it definitely feels like Y4 is going to have to be the main damage dealer unless you go for something like the Nocturne. I'm always baited. See, I'm sadly a Nocturne fan. I'm not quite a Vedius Nocturne fan, but I am a Nocturne fan. I do quite like the buffs he got. But no, we're not going to talk about it. We're going to talk about the Graves, the red herring of the thing. You can see there, very high pick rate, very high ban rate, but a very low win rate.
I'm just saying, Penguin, Leona Graves, we saw it coming. We knew what V5 were dishing out. And now EDG going to go towards the Orianna. Orianna or Syndra, I think, were the 2 potentially expected picks coming out from them. 4v5, we already set up how their comp wants to play. Again, right, very low range, very bruiser heavy. They want to run in, Senna supporting from the backside of the fight. For the side of EDG, you do have early push in the mid lane. You do have early push up top side. So once again, this Udyr is going to be able to get that full clear off like we know and love. We're going to see if he can find that gank at level 4 around, you know, what potentially this time. I still think should probably be the bottom side of the map. I don't think you have too many avenues up and top side. And then it's just going to be a bit of a slower game, I think, coming out from both teams.
Yeah, which is actually very, very interesting because Edward Gaming have the slowest average game time at 34 minutes and 22 seconds, whereas V5, 30 minutes and 33 seconds. Almost a 4-minute difference between these two teams. And I feel like if you're going to start leaning into a late game team comp or a late game team fight, it's gonna start favoring EDG. They live in this. They live in this space. They know exactly what it's like to be around here, around these times, and have all those items stacking up.
Definitely do. This is uncharted territory for the side of V5, and it's going to come a lot off the mid jungle, right? When you have Galio and you have Graves, you have the CC, and you have the damage, it's going to be a lot about that. That was in our graphic, right? Putting some early focus onto the mid lane, at least trying to blow Orianna's flash. The thing is, you always got to be wary of that Udyr pick. So I want to see if JJ can hover around mid, try to answer that by putting down some vision of his own.
We'll see how both sides want to play out this game. Lots of global pressure from the side of V5, but a fantastic front-to-back team fight from EDG. Let's see how either of these sides are able to capitalize and execute on their compositions as we jump into the Rift for Game 1 of this best of 3. And someone who's kind of gone under the radar, and we haven't really spoken that much about them as such, has been Mako. Mako has been around for what feels like an absolute eternity, and just feels like someone who, in such a star-studded lineup, has to just fall a little bit behind and kind of say, you know what, I'm the roadie who makes everything happen, but like I'm just as important.
I agree, and I feel like Mako is definitely not the same as when you think of EDG of old, like Depth and Mako, and how they would step up and just completely crush people. Mako's still good. Mako still has some pop-off performances, but he definitely does take more of a step back than before. I don't think he's as active on the map as certain other supports, as like even towards like PP God in summer of last year, where he was all over the map, or someone like Lumao. He's a bit more lane focused, which works with someone like Viper, who you can find a lot of these 2v2 kills in lane, but yeah, I think he's just kind of up there. He's an above average support in LPL, solidly does his job, has the experience necessary, pretty good in lane, pretty good in team fights, and that's what you can expect out of Mako.
Yeah, he has been a staple of EDG for such a very, very long time, has been seen many, many iterations, has seen many, many highs and lows. And for an organization like EDG, we got a bit of time. We do apologize, ladies and gentlemen. There still seems to be a slight issue while getting into game, and we're just going to hopefully be able to jump in as soon as possible. So as soon as I get any kind of update, I will let you guys know as usual. But we got a little bit of time. We talk about EDG as an organization. There was a very real time in the LPL where it was just EDG RNG, or whatever version of RNG they were at the time. That hasn't really been a thing for quite a while now, and it feels like for the first time, EDG fans, and I don't want to say this because they always get very mad at me when I do, but it feels like you can let yourself get a little bit excited.
I definitely agree, right? The thing is, one of the most important things for me about when you look at top LPL teams is just the level of individual player quality. It feels like this is a league that depends a lot on, in terms of like skill expression, how you play out your laning phases, and things along those lines. And that's what EDG has in spades, right? Scout has been a complete rock in this mid lane. Scout for years has been kind of in and out of top 3 to top 5 mid laner in the LPL. Flandre, like you said, has been pretty niche in the sense that he's been on LNG and Snake his whole career, but has people who follow the LPL hardcore know this guy's a top prospect. And then I mean, just look at Viper's resume. Look at what Viper's been doing in LPL these past few weeks. They just don't have any holes in their gameplay this far. At least no big glaring holes, right? There's always small things you can improve on. You already hit on how they're one of the slowest teams. A lot of their wins aren't always the cleanest, but it's smaller issues to shore up, not any like big glaring ones.
Yeah, there's no massive weakness when you look at it and say that's where you need to go. It just seems to be kind of small little things. Like we said, they don't really focus on the Rift Herald, which obviously lends to the fact that they are the slowest average game time in the league. Rift Herald is something that you use to accelerate the game. And they don't really kind of look for that kind of an avenue. And it is for EDG. I feel like they can keep going with this. Of course, they brought Clearlove back into the roster, quote unquote, but I feel like that might have been just to help out JJ. Maybe use him as almost like a personal scrim partner and say, look, you got to be better than me, and I'm usually top 10 in Korea most of the time, so, or at least in the Chinese servers as well. So like this is, I feel like a good litmus test, excuse me, to keep JJ on his toes, and it seems to be working for them. Looking at V5, it's been a roller coaster of a history for these guys, from best to worst to best. They seem to just yo-yo quite often, and it finally feels like they found a little bit of stability and a little bit of a franchise player in Mole.
That's the thing, right? Is their core is very strong. I think Mole, again, is always, for me, in that conversation of being one of the better mid laners in LPL. I had him top 5 last split. Way, again, top contender for jungler. PP God for me was top 3 in summer. I don't think his form is great right now, but still it is a very solid core to play around. Now it's just about incorporating Long Xing into the roster, whichever top laner, and finding a suitable AD carry who can step up and be a big carry threat on this team.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I do have an update, and I do apologize for the delay. We had a slight issue with the server that was selected for this game. League Ops have opted to redo picks and bans with the exact same picks, exact same bans, but just on the more optimal server. They are going through that right now. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I do apologize profusely. We, of course, will hopefully be onto the game as quick as possible. This is something I've always found it interesting. I don't think anyone wants the game to be delayed, especially not casters. So like, if we're delaying and we're talking about other things, we'd rather be in game. Just want to put that out there. You know, we're on your side with this, and it looks like we might be jumping into it finally.
Yeah, and again, something interesting just to hit on once again as we're going into game and not expecting any level 1 shenanigans is that Senna has been buffed. I'm sure all of you know, because all of you watch League of Legends every day. Attack speed ratio buffed. Now gets more gold for her rates drops, higher chance of rates getting drops on non-killed rates, and your Q now procs Kraken Slayer. So again, very strong when you think about this new build of Kraken Slayer into Rage Blade and Rapid Fire Cannon. You're also getting a lot of benefit out of Senna's passive, which gives you crit. Rapid Fire turns that into more AD, which just feels so good, especially with this ratio. The Ginsu as well. You're applying that, the Phantom hit from the Kraken Slayer. There's a lot of good benefit coming out of this new Senna build, and you're just dishing out a ton more DPS than ever before.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we are finally onto the rift for Game 1 of this best of 3 between V5 and EDG. EDG looking to continue their unbeaten record and get them to 6-0 atop of the standings, whereas V5 looking to bounce back and get themselves back into that playoff picture. Looking at the two teams fanning out, not really much shenanigans going to be happening here. I'm curious to see where JJ goes with this Udyr, how quick he can get things going for him. And he jumps in, just makes himself known. They know a ward has gone down, they know there is vision, and they know where they can and cannot go if they want to try and keep their cards close to their chest.
And as we take a look at the runes, we do have Mole with the Predator. I'm not a huge fan of this on Galio. I feel like there's a lot of tough lane matchups where you can either opt for something like the Aftershock just to survive the laning phase, or if you want to be more of a utility team fighter, going for that unsealed spell book. Oh, Y4.
Oh, this is disaster for Y4 and PP God. They were caught out on that ward in the bush. You can see here, Y4 just taking down so low. Great double knock up by Makeup using the pulverize to its absolute fullest. But now you're already on the back foot and you cannot afford to go back this early on.
No, this is going to be rough for them. EDG's bot lane gets complete control of the laning phase. Luckily, Senna does have that sustain, healing PP God as well as himself. So could get there quite soon, but obviously having to expend mana as well to get there. Having no potion. There's honestly not much V5 can do to rectify this situation, and I want to see if Weiwei makes an early stop bot, because it does look like he was going for a full clear, but instead now just going to head towards that top side actually.
They had stabilized, had to use a little bit of the pots and sustain they had, but it is very difficult to keep a Senna down. The poke is temporary, your sustain is forever, and you can just keep putting out those Qs. Just makes it so difficult for you to really lock her down. It kind of feels like with the Senna, you just have to kill her, and if you don't, she's going to sustain that up. You can see it there on the left-hand side, Y4 pretty much up to full.
Ooh, though, PP God getting traded out quite well, but hey, that's the one thing, right? You're talking about it's hard to just get off this consistent poke damage. It's about the all-in, but Alistar and Kai'Sa giving such a great all-in, especially once we hit that level 6 mark, could become a bit of a kill lane. But, you know, we talked a lot about Udyr, and here we are at 3 minutes. He's on his Krugs, about to finish up, and you would think that EDG should be able to get that topside scuttle with Gnar pushing out as well. And honestly, EDG might be able to get a double scuttle off this play if they can force Weiwei back.
Well, we see now Scout going back has no real mana here. JJ is here, a level ahead of Weiwei. So JJ versus the Weiwei as a teleport comes in. It is going to be scuttle locked there for the side of V5. They will get the flash out of JJ. So this is the kind of the problem I feel like when you're kind of looking into those lanes. Yes, you're an Udyr. Yes, you can just jump in on top of them, but you are single target or very heavily single target. And you can see here Weiwei just pushing Scout back, making sure that Mole can get that clear going, and then they can create pressure towards this bot side, which V5 are already starting to collapse upon.
Yeah, V5 are here. Oh, he goes in, Penguin.
Oh, here we go. They go in. They do not hit the center plate, but a 3-man knockup by Mako just puts everybody up into the air, but you do not have the sustain. You do not have the damage to continue onto this. Viper forced to cleanse. He may be forced to flash if they're able to get one more auto attack down, but Weiwei backs away. 2 quick kills for V5, and this Udyr pick, he got greedy and he got punished.
Yeah, really interesting from Weiwei, to where we saw him skip his Krug camp on his first rotation, go straight up towards topside so we can try and get the scuttle about the same time. And we saw that Scout's reset and TP wasn't timed with JJ wanting to go for this crap, so maybe they didn't expect this to happen. Weiwei gets that one, easily able to transition through bot. Viper and Mako had already pushed in the wave, so they're already coming off. The bounce back is Longxing.
Oh, Flandre, we were just singing your praises in the pick and ban. He has to flash away from Longxing, who's just feeling so aggressive and so comfortable being able to bully out this Gnar. And this is a contentious matchup that a lot of people have a lot of different opinions about. But I think right now Longxing is saying, I can take the early game, and he gets the push.
And we're going to get a replay of this skirmish. We do see a flash come out from PP-God. He goes in, Mole follows up. Really nice E as well to just lock down the Alistar. And then Weiwei providing all the burst. Weiwei has been having some pretty insane performances once again this split. Already having the Noon Quiver on top of a longsword, on top of 2 Ruby Crystals onto JJ. So he's going to be feeling quite well. So now again, to me, it's going to be a lot about comboing with the Galio and looking towards the spot lane. Both top laners have blown their flashes, so there is always an avenue for a gank there depending on the wave state, but with how we set up both Kai'Sa and Senna and how these compositions work, I feel like bottom lane is much more impactful to this game.
Well, with the reset coming in from Viper, he goes back, gets himself a serrated Dirk. You can see PP-God and Weiwei now with the pressure as combined with mid lane. They are able to pick themselves the first Drake of the game. And this is the pace. This is what we talked about, the average game time. 30 minutes versus 34 minutes. V5, they are far more of a aggressive push and get those advantages as quick as you can, whereas EDG is slow, methodical, trying to make sure that they get everything right, cross your T's, dot your I's, and it looks like V5 don't want to let them have that space.
Yeah, and one thing we can expect is whether V5 look to make a play on the bot side right now, I actually don't expect with how they built this wave. Like, V5 are the #1 team in terms of Rift Herald control. We're getting closer to that 8-minute mark, so we're going to see at some point in the next minute PP-God go up towards that top side, and V5 look to make that play. They also have the Renekton, so sure, he is getting pushed in against the Gnar, but he will always have some sort of all-in kill pressure, as we saw before.
Yep, good ward here as well from V5, just spots out JJ. You can have a look at the map there. Good aggressive vision here from EDG. You can see it on the blue buff of Graves, so Scout using his priority as well to try to see if they can get their own identity or own identifiers to where this Graves jungle will be going, but no real flashes in the top half of the jungle apart from Scout. You'd feel like that's where we're going to see the next big skirmish. PP-God is here just to try and push out this wave. Graves already back in on top of invading the jungle. This is something we rarely see, is a Graves getting the jump on top of a Udyr.
And it's been nice, just off the reset that PP-God did get right, coming back onto the map. Actually just hovering over from bot side, I'm sorry. And it's talking about the play that we were expecting, with Herald coming up in about 30 seconds. Longxing has the bounce back, so he has the wave to set up. Mole has ultimate as well, so Flandre knows he needs to respect a potential top lane dive coming in.
Oh, JJ is here now into the mid lane. Shockwave does land onto Mole. Mole does not have flash as JJ just starts to try and run him down. Graves is on his way, but it might be too little, too late. There is the hero's entrance expended and unfortunately put onto a large cooldown as nothing really goes down. Mako trying to jump in with the Hex Flash. Very difficult to get on top of this. You can see the Glacial Augment just slowing him down. He is ignited. He does not have flash available to him. One more auto attack will do it. Y4 picks up that one. And now Viper in a 2v1. Does he feel like he can take this fight? No level 6s for either side. Ends up just being a 1-for-1 overall as the Galio did go down. PP God tried to land the Zenith Blade there. Needs to be a bit careful. You land some extra poke there. Viper has got the 6 now available to him. They have got the Solar Flare, which misses. Great move from Viper, but PP God flashes in aggressively, and PP God sends him to the heavens. Great play by the V5 bot lane.
And Y4 and PP God solo killing Viper and Mako isn't something that you would expect. Again, Mako just overstepping a little bit. Nice punish coming out from PP God. They had an EXP advantage. They hit 6. Gonna get the 2v2 kill as well as Weiwei starting off this Herald. Right now, JJ is on the bottom half of the map, and it looks like they're just going to concede.
Yeah, again, EDG, they care not for Rift Heralds, whereas V5 care a hell of a lot. And this is the kind of interesting, flip of the coin. Which is going to win out? The slow, methodical, well-thought-out version of EDG, or the high kind of intensity, high, fast-paced movements of V5? I'm so curious to see how this one will work out, because it actually feels like a lot closer. I honestly was thinking that this would be a bit of a stomp for EDG, but V5, they've come out swinging.
Yeah, it's been nice to see. They didn't get punished for the overstep in the mid lane, where I could understand what Mo was trying to do. He was trying to stay as close to that top side as possible as they were threatening that dive. They didn't actually know where JJ was on the map, but he's standing too far forward. The Shockwave comes out from Scout, and then JJ was able to follow up. That was the one punish they find. Now, once again, we're going to see JJ playing towards the spot side, the kind of tried and true playstyle that we've seen from EDG once again this split.
All right, let's have a look at the map state right now. You can see EDG, they're focusing a lot of their vision, a lot of their pressure towards this bot side. They've now realized that Viper and Mako losing the 2v2 and a straight 2 for nothing is not exactly ideal coming later on into this game. But you also have to be aware that V5 have got the Rift Herald. Looks like Weiwei maybe wants to go for something here in the mid lane. The taunt will not land, but they do get the flash and the Shockwave out of Scout. Flash in there from JJ, and that's a flash bear slap to send the Galio back to the gray screen. Nicely done there by EDG.
Yeah, great job. V5 do get the flash out from the side of Scout, but JJ is there to follow up. Mole was already low. Gets locked down by the Shockwave, then comboed with the stun coming out from Udyr, and V5 not able to do anything on that front. At this point, EDG's 2v2 just does have a lot more damage. 4v5, they would need to be able to lock Scout down immediately and pretty much just insta-burst him out, but nice fancy footwork coming out from him. And this goes to what we said about EDG, that Scout is a rock in the mid lane. It's very hard to put resources against him as an enemy team, and EDG don't really need to reliably put too many resources onto him for their own team because they know he's going to do well. He's honestly smashing Mole in this mid lane, and it's going to be one of the areas of the map that EDG need to keep relying on if they want to get back into this game, though they're only about 400 gold behind.
Yeah, the gold has been very even. Honestly, it feels like it's all in that mid lane. You can see 2 deaths for the Galio versus 1-0-1 for the Orianna, and a 30-ish CS lead for the Orianna Scout. Like we said, he's been playing these control mages. He is able to keep himself safe and pretty easily kind of, kite it back and gain his own little small advantages. JJ on this Udyr will have to try and find some way of stopping these objective stackings. That's 3 in a row. That's double Drake into a Herald, and the next Herald should be spawning in the next few minutes.
And we do see him kind of posturing around the mid lane. It does look like V5 are pushing forward. Yeah, their wave will go in, so they should back off this one and potentially look for a reset as they're doing. We also see the Immortal Shield Bow coming out from Weiwei. I do like this build. You're against an Udyr, you're against an Alistar, a Kai'Sa, all of these champions signaling they are going to run into. You are going to get into close range. It's going to be very brawly and skirmish heavy. You're not necessarily looking for that Gale Force to just assassinate one of the units on the back line. Also could remember that Gale Force also did get nerfed this patch from 60-second cooldown to a 90-second, so it is something that you do feel a little bit.
Yeah, it is something that makes the skill expression, which we always like to talk about, not as easily done or as consistently done, as we can see the Rift Herald being dropped into mid lane. Called it. The LPL teams love just to drop it in mid lane. They don't really have any more of an answer to it, and they don't really want to try and chuck it into the side waves, but they will share that gold, so 320 gold divided equally between Mole and Weiwei, so 160 each. And that should equal out about a 400, 500 gold lead for V5. Now, first item's coming in, the Chem Tank, Turbo Chem Tank for the Udyr. He's going to be able to run into these team fights. You can see now with JJ and Mako, they're trying to establish vision around this bot side, see if they can go for some kind of an engage while also stealing as many camps as possible.
Yeah, Mako's still hovering around. Weiwei not where he needs to be.
Oh, Weiwei gets caught out, gets shockwave down. He does have the hero's entrance as well as the Senna. This is the combination you have, and you can see the damage being put down here is good enough as JJ falls. Viper is here. He's trying to be a little bit of a nuisance. Mako flashes away, but he lands on top of his two carries. That's disaster for EDG. Oh, Mako forcing out absolutely everything, and he will get Viper killed. Disaster for EDG.
I really like how V5 played that one, though. We do see Weiwei caught out, but with this Immortal Shield bow especially, he flashes away, he goes to his Krug camp, he heals back up, waits for Y4 to arrive, and you're right, Mako goes back into his team. Just a ton of AoE coming out from the side of V5 as Y4 then flashes in, and it was beautiful, Penguin. This was not exactly what we expected to happen. We are going to get a bit of a replay here. They find the catch. He does have the Galio to back him up, though you also have the Dawning Shadows from the Senna. Is able to get away with that flash. Weiwei off our screens is healing up as Mole and PPGot are putting out all the damage necessary. Y4 is here, throws down the root, and Mako locks down his whole team, allowing for the rest of the members of V5 to clean this one up.
That is an instant head in the hands moment from Mako of like, I didn't see it, I didn't realize it was on me, and that is unfortunate and does give a lot more gold into the pockets of V5 as they, it honestly, like you said, it looked like it was Weiwei just getting straight up caught out, but with the extra magic resistant shields you get from the hero's entrance as well as the Dawning Shadows, becomes very difficult for them to actually just 100% bring him down. He's now 2-0-3. They've got themselves a 2-0-5 Senna. Senna's been a part of 100% of the kills right now, and Y4, we questioned whether or not at the start of this game he could be the carry for his team. He could definitely, you know, set himself up to be utilizing himself and Weiwei to be the carries.
This is a good thing about this champion coming back into the meta because it was one of the ones Y4 played. And again, not many LPL AD carries played Senna when NA and EU were playing it so much. We do see a trade going on our screens, though, where V5 actually runs who made the rotation to send their bot lane top. They want to go for a Herald, probably into mid lane play. They should be able to send Weiwei up towards top side too to potentially try to take that one down, but I feel like for V5 they just ended up giving EDG breathing room that they didn't necessarily need to. They probably could have played out standard lanes, still gotten the Rift Herald because, like you highlighted, Graves is so strong, Senna is so strong. And you could probably just send Weiwei to take that. You have Dawning Shadows to support him. Mole can hover over. Longxing is also pretty strong at this point right now, and then play more towards your bottom lane. But, you know, Penguin, what do? Sometimes we do lane allocations that give the other team breathing room. That happens.
It happens. It does happen quite a bit in the league of LPL, but this is where we now see the mettle of EDG. This is where we see if V5 can use these advantages. Yes, it's only about a 500 gold lead. It's got, honestly, straight up towards these CS leads in the top and the bot lane and the mid lane, pretty much all around the way, the positive CS numbers, and you can see the lane pressure you have for EDG is keeping them within arm's reach of this gold. Second Rift Herald going to be used into the mid lane for a second time. But is it a little bit too early? Nope, should be able to get the charge off and take down the turret. Now they've opened up the map, and they're going to be able to take their third Drake. So this is starting to stack away, and this is where EDG, they need to start coming up with plans and contingency setups to try and make sure that they do not lose this soul or potentially even an Elder later on in the game.
Yeah, for EDG, still have an avenue and side lanes to play around as we do see Flandre bullying out in this matchup. The things you need to watch out for are obviously the double global coming out from V5. They always can instantly join up in that fight, but Flandre having a lot of safety right now, obviously has the range advantage, has the E, and then also did go for the Stride Breaker, so he's going to get the movement speed off both his Mythic passive as well as when he does just deal damage in general, so he should be able to kind of connect in.
They might not be able to kite out the Weiwei, unfortunately, as his mid laner just says, sorry, buddy, I'm out. The flash ball delivery system as Flandre TP'd onto the backside. Lot invested here for one pick. Yes, it was onto the Graves. Yes, it is a huge shutdown. Actually gives EDG the goal lead. But what else can you get out of it? They send the scout back. He TP's back to the top side. And Mole should be able to defend this tier 2 turret.
Okay. I kind of expected more to happen if JJ would have followed up sooner. Because, yeah, the only time they can dive Mole is when they do have that Mega Narc come out. Obviously, they just turn mini. Oh, look at your mini-map, Penguin. Long Xing TP'd behind just to recall?
No, he's trying to see if he can catch someone out on the rotation. They know that Flandre might be a little bit... Oh, JJ just went back as well. They're trying to see if they can find him here. Flandre... Oh, they're so lucky on the side of EDG. Flandre realizing that everyone was collapsing. They were looking for him. They were hunting for him. And he gets himself out pretty safe and sound into this bot side. Just has to move up a little bit behind the bush.
Yeah, we're going to get a replay of the last play. So V5, we're going for the turret bot side to trade for the towers that EDG had taken earlier. Mole knows he needs to get out of there. They can't win. They spotted out the TP. But another interesting thing that we saw is that Mole is actually going for the Night Harvester, which is not something we see on Galio at all. You pretty much only see the Hextech Rocket Bell be the thing to come out. Obviously, Night Harvester does give you a bit more upfront burst, and it does stack per champion hit, so theoretically you could get better instant bursts on numerous champions, but I would still think the Rocket Belt would serve you better as a primary engage tool. Of course, we need to remember Rocket Belt did get a bit nerfed, but yeah, interesting deviations coming out from Mole.
Yeah, it feels like it's just kind of giving them a little bit more option. Of course, when you do land that extra bit of damage, it does give you a extra little bit of move speed onto new champions. So you get it kind of just sets you up a little bit and gives you 5 ability haste onto everything else that you build. So it's a curious setup here. I'm curious to see how it will fully form itself into this game, but with 2 minutes until this dragon spawns, that will be Cloud Soul. This is kind of the big thing, I feel, for the side of V5. You get the Cloud Soul here for the Dawning Shadow and the Hero's Entrance. That's actually a huge deal because it means you can be a bit more frivolous with your ultimate cooldowns and not have to worry about them, you know, kind of coming back to bite you.
Yeah, it'll definitely help, but I still feel like it's not going to be the game changer, right? If V5 are going to win these team fights, it's still going to have to be off the back of Y4's positioning. And one of the nice things about EDG's comp goes back to some of our early sets where we're saying, hey, 2-threat versus 1-threat composition. We're kind of in the same boat where, sure, Graves is going to be a pretty big damage dealer as well, but not as big as a Kai'Sa and Orianna on the opposite side.
Oh, Weiwei is way caught out. We can see there is the Hero's Entrance, just going to be used to knock up one. Flandre did use the Mega Gnar ultimate. It's a minute until the next dragon. So, both teams using 2 big teamfight AoE ultimates. No one gets a kill. No one really loses any summoners apart from Weiwei losing his flash. And everyone backs away. Now we go back to the mid lane dance. The tango in the mid lane that is getting the mid-wave push.
And the thing is, the longer this happens, the better EDG feels. Not only for the scaling elements that we just mentioned, but EDG have been doing a much better job and have the composition to control the side waves much better, as we've seen Flandre sitting around this mid lane. You even look at the top side wave, it is consistently pushing into V5, giving them something that they need to think about with Dragon coming up soon. So, Sterix Gage being picked up by Flandre as well. He is ahead in items in terms against Long Xing. We know that Scout is ahead in the mid lane. And I don't know if we're at a point where V5 can really win a fight. V5 need to find instant burst onto the likes of Viper or Scout. Maybe if JJ runs too far forward, you can pick him up before a fight starts, but that's it.
Oh, great Justice Punch to keep Mole alive. He is still waiting for his Hero's Entrance to come back up. Drawing out the Winds of War and just keeping himself at arm's distance. You can see EDG, they're feeling more confident. They're feeling like they're the ones in control. This poke is good, but it's not going to last forever as Y4 has got the Senna. Important to notice, Y4 has got the Gwynzeus versus only 1.5 items for EDG. V5 looks like they might just be conceding this one straight away. The Justice Punch does not land away from anyone on the team, but now the fight can happen right here, right now. The Dawning Shadow cleans up the Udyr, and here is Long Xing onto the backside. Viper has the flash, he has to cleanse, he has to Killer Instinct out. There is the Shield of Duran, but it's not able to catch up the Scout, who does flash away. But a flash forward from Y4 keeps him alive and keeps it going for the side of V5. They get themselves 4 kills. They're looking for the 5th to increase their namesake, and they will pick it up. A huge team fight win, and they will be able to pick up Dragon Soul as well.
We needed Y4 to step up this game if V5 had any chance of winning, and he did it. He's flashing forward. He's aggressively looking for his kill, and his team is believing in him and following up. That was just great to see from V5 because things started to look dicey. It didn't look like it was going to work out. Certain key members of EDG were still alive, but like you said, they get Dragon Soul, and now the thing to keep in mind is we are definitely going to have an Elder Drake in this game. But let's go to the replay first. We see EDG going in after Mole does find that E. Keep your eyes on the Senna. Dawning Shadow picks off JJ, just has so much damage right now. Great flank coming out from Longxing, forces both summoners from Viper. Mako instantly going down. Mole getting extremely low, and that's the flash we talked about from Y4. And it doesn't matter that he goes down here because Weiwei's able to clean up in response, and then they're also going to be able to finish off Flandre as well. So again, the current Senna build just dishes out so much damage. He's on his way to that rapid fire cannon, and look at your screen right there, man. Insane.
Imagine doing 4,500 damage and still losing. Like, that's the unfortunate situation for the side of EDG. And this is where the game starts to take a little bit of a turn. Now we're at 24 minutes, give it another 5 minutes, and we're looking at a potential Elder Soul. You can't just trade off a Dragon for a Baron, because I feel like if V5 get that Dragon or the Baron, they can look to end. This is where the slow, methodical gameplay of EDG gets caught out a little bit, and for V5, they're looking to accelerate. They're looking to keep this Renekton relevant. They're looking to keep Graves as that ridiculous carry in the jungle, and looking to keep down this Scout and Viper.
To be fair, I really did like EDG's positioning in that team fight. The thing that really seemed to screw them up was the flank from Longxing, because it forced the cleanse and flash out from Viper, or he could have just been hitting pure frontline that whole time, and despite being an item down, it did feel like EDG as a whole were ahead.
Well, we might see another fight happening right here, right now. There is the hero's entrance. He actually got bumped back on top of the carries. Mako, the secret sub-agent here for the side of V5. 2 kills. The bot lane is dead. The mid laner is gone. You have no damage, EDG, and that's a free Baron.
And this is where these teams thrive. These melee team compositions love fighting in chokes. Like you said, this is going to be a Baron for V5, and the curse is reigning true, Penguin. The undefeated teams, it's not looking good for EDG right now.
It's still only the first game, but I got to agree with you right now. V5 going from strength to strength to strength, feeling like they're up in the gears in this game. They get top outer turret, they get the Baron, they get a couple of kills. It's still, despite 10 kills, only a 5,000 gold lead, but it feels like EDG are panicking. It feels like they're the ones that are making the mistakes, and V5 are just 100% capitalized.
And look, we highlighted you need to take down Viper. Viper is their carry. Viper is 0-4, Mako is 0-5. They're taking down that bot lane. We see the engage come out from PP God. Mole comes in with the ultimate. Ease on to Viper. Actually, I'm sorry, W's and then Ease. Has enough burst to just take him down with that first mythic item that we did highlight. Longxing was on the opposite side of the fight. They take down Scout, and that is all they needed.
I feel like if Mako doesn't headbutt PP God that far into his backline, you don't get that assassination with the Galio. And Mako, I feel like I'm giving him a lot of shtick, if you will, but he's had some amazing 3-man knockups, 4-man knockups with his Pulverize. He's made the most out of a lot of his CC in his kit. It just hasn't been at the right moments, or just hasn't really worked out in the right favors for the side of EDG. And right now, with the Baron buff taken down, you got 2.5 minutes. Oh, wait, you got 2 minutes of the Baron buff, and then basically once that's over, it's 30 seconds until the Elder Drake. Where do you go for EDG? How do you stall out this game?
For EDG, it's definitely a tough one because they were the team we were talking about that has to play with range advantage. They want to be on objectives first. They feel fine with V5 coming into them, but when you're up against a Baron, you know, you're just going to be pushed in under your turrets. V5 don't need to come into you. They can just take those structures and back off. And the fact that you have a Gnar in a side lane, this is where the awkwardness of Gnar starts to show himself. I feel like it's a bit hard with Gnar and Udyr to just say, screw mid lane, we're going to all in a side. You don't have the guaranteed lockup there.
But not only that, you can't really all in a side when there's Galio on one side and Senna on the other.
True.
Dawning Shadow, the hero's entrance. It's so easy for V5 to come out and make an odd-numbered fight back in their favor. I just feel right now like they're just utilizing that so well. They're not going to split towards top. They don't care about that. They're going to split towards bot and mid, use those, you know, cooldowns to the best that they can, and then just back up. We actually see a Medjai's here for Mole on this Galio. This Night Harvester build, you might not like it, but it will just burst out anyone on the side of EDG if they're caught out.
Well, Penguin, I didn't say I didn't like it. I didn't expect it. It does make sense, right? Rocket Belt did get some nerfs to the movement speed and how long you get it, from 50% to 2 seconds to 30% with 1.5. So maybe Night Harvester being a bit more efficient in terms of being able to get on the enemy backline, because that's what Mole has been doing this game, right? It's been all about getting on top of the likes of Scout and Viper. But, I mean, we've walked through it. You pointed out such great points right there in terms of side lanes. It feels like all EDG can do is hope to go to this next Dragon, front-to-back team fight. And again, I feel like it is massive as long as there's no flank, as Mako... Oh, Mako's gone.
Ooh, Mako is locked up and most certainly going to be taken down. He does flash away. They do not get the collateral damage. The Dawning Shadow does not land, but Mako does fall to the Ignite. They have lost their support and 30 seconds until Dragon, and he's dead for 35, which means he's about a minute out from this. That is a big loss for the side of EDG if they want to try and make this fight. So that means they are basically 100% reliant on Flandre to try and get this fight going for them.
Yes, they are, and Mole is low, but Mole has TP. He can be at Dragon right now. PP gone. Not that far down, can rely on the Senna heal coming out, but we see TPs on both sides.
Scout trying to just dissuade Wei from going any further on top of Flandre. You cannot give this up if you're EDG. Look at the summoners. They have got pretty much everything up. They've got all the important flashes on their carries, and they've got themselves 3 items on the Orianna. That shockwave will be massive if they can land it. Flash from Scout, that's now down. They have to disengage. They have Mole on the backside who TP'd in, and Flandre will go Mega just before he gets taken down. They have got the hero's entrance to try and keep Wei alive, and Flandre will be dropped. They still have the shockwave available, but they're just being chased down. They're being chased back towards their base. Mako is respawned. Mako is still here as he keeps going in. The shockwave is almost just up. They're just waiting for it, but they just haven't got it. 2-man shockwave. Scout's able to pick up 2. That's very important. They get the 280 carries. He goes golden. Now Viper might try and go for the fight. Killer Instinct. He picks up another. It ends up being a 3 for 3. EDG have brought it back from the brink as Viper and Scout step up.
Penguin, I don't know why V5 feel the need to go in this scenario. They find the key kills, they can just back off, but they want to dive, they want to keep going. It is great that Scout found that 2-man shockwave. It brought EDG back, but V5 just got too greedy after that, thought, hey, we are just going to keep going for it. They bought time with Zanya's, and now you're giving this room, you're giving this time where EDG can be the ones to start the Elder Drake. What kind of throw are we witnessing?
Oh, if you throw, someone else has got to catch it, and EDG are looking for an 85-yard touchdown pass right now, courtesy of V5. They will take the Elder Drake, and this game is not over.
Look, what we are watching right now actually blows me away, Penguin. How does this happen? How do you go from dominating the fight? You play that so well. They pick off Flandre right away as it kind of looks like Weiwei's going to go down. You have numbers advantage. You can back off. You can walk towards that dragon. And you say no. We're going to walk under their inhibitor turret. We're going to get a replay here. Weiwei flashes in. They're staying on top of Flandre. The other members of V5 are already wrapping around. Galio follows up. And look, Flandre's dead. You have numbers advantage. You keep going in. You can get them low. Even as far as here, you can back off, you can look for that dragon, you can kill Mako first, then look for the dragon, but they are going to keep going. Watch Scout Shockwave, bam, really nice onto 2 people, and then after that, they decide to dive him further.
Yeah, and with the Elder Drake Baron just spawning, this is going to be EDG's. I feel like you can't fight this right now if you're V5. You have to wait until this Elder Drake buff is down. They will take the Baron. The best thing that V5 can do is exactly what they're doing, and they're trying to get their side waves in order, trying to make sure they don't lose as much as they possibly can. Oh, this game is only a 2,000 gold lead for V5, but the longer this one goes on, the more it feels like EDG are going to be favored.
I mean, at this point in time, EDG are favored to win this game. I think with kind of the state of the game, with how it's been working out. Actually, I'm gonna walk that back a little bit because I forgot how busted new Senna is. If Y4 performs the way he's been performing, V5 can still win this game. If we get what we expect out of Y4, I think EDG can take this one. But like you said, they gotta buy time. EDG are gonna get some gold back. They have about 50 more seconds with this Elder Drake where V5 aren't gonna run into them. They're gonna give up whatever EDG posture to take. After that is where we're probably gonna see V5 just kind of hope for the best, pull the trigger. They do have GA on Y4 despite him not having flash, but almost every flash down on the side of V5.
30 seconds left on the Elder Drake. No flash on either of the AD carries on either side. You can see JJ with his flash pushing in aggressively. They will break open the mid lane inhibitor. Now, with 2 minutes basically left onto this Baron buff, you can transition this very smoothly to the top side. Yes, you have to give up these buffs, but how much are you willing to give up, V5? You have to decide when you want to fight.
Yeah, I think V5 need to look for this one.
They're going for it. Solar Flare lands down on top of the backside, but a great 3-man knockback into the wall means Galio has fallen. Your assassin onto the backside is no longer there. Mako just trying to play keep away from his laners as they are going to get the GA out of the Renekton. JJ now very, very low, backing himself away. We can see Longxi trying to go in with the Cull the Meek, but just not able to get any purchase there. They will keep moving forward. They have to get Y4. It has to be him.
Yeah, and V5, it feels like it's too late, though. I feel like EDG can just keep pushing. They don't have enough of a front line now to contest.
They don't have a front line, and they don't have great wave clear as well. Yes, you got very good single target, but your wave clear is not very good on the side of V5. They're just trying to delay 30 seconds until you have Mole back onto the map. They still have Baron for another minute. They've got super minions in the mid lane. They're pushing onto Nexus turrets. Wei trying to see if he can get any kind of damage down. Nexus turret number 1 does fall. JJ runs in, runs out, trying to keep this Baron buff going. Shockwave does not land. Flandre, though, just jump back in straight away and get himself set up and ready to go. Here's Mole, though. Have they given enough time for the assassin in the mid lane to get going? I don't think they have. I don't think Mole has the damage, and I think EDG will be able to take this game 1. Oh my damn.
That was absolutely heartbreaking, Penguin. That game was 100% V5's one overstep punished and EDG taken away. Before the game we said, how do you beat EDG? I guess it's impossible if you